Detective Inspector Julie Cadell shivered on the cobbled wharf of Hartlepool Historic Quay as the police divers extracted the body from the water. Last night's gale, Storm Babel, had blown itself out through the morning, creating a wall of obsidian cloud, dense and black, heading east. At the sound of heavy footsteps, Julie turned, shading her eyes against the low winter sun. D.S. Ian Wharton emerged from the museum gift shop. His silhouette, square and solid, cast a long shadow. Julie dabbed a drop of camphor oil at the base of each nostril before offering the little pot to her colleague as he drew level. He raised his eyes heavenward before shaking his head and walking on. D.S. Wharton had a way of turning the smallest gesture into a rebuke, a comment on her lack of leadership experience, a slur on her competence, a predictor of failure. What in heaven's name had her boss been thinking of to add him to her team on this, her first major case as senior investigating officer? At least she had an ally in the crime scene manager. CSM Adrian Prosser stood beside the tarpaulin as the divers laid the corpse at the feet of the attending medic. Julie joined the CSM. She stared down at the dead man and shuddered. Floaters were often hard to identify, but it didn't look as if he'd been in the sea for very long. Under the dark hair and full beard, it was just about possible to imagine the man he'd once been. Poor sod. "Who spotted him?" she asked.
"Group of primary school kids visiting the HMS Trincomalee,"
Adrian replied. She followed his gaze, taking in the restored sailing frigate, built in India for the British Navy in 1805, and now the main visitor attraction in the outdoor section of the National Museum of the Royal Navy.
"A fine day out."
D.S. Wharton let out a low chuckle.
"One they won't forget in a hurry."
The doctor pronounced the man dead. It didn't take decades of medical training to make that call, but protocol must be observed, and Rosie, the police photographer, came in close to take pictures. The victim was wearing trainers and a thin tracksuit, the jacket zip halfway down revealing a t-shirt with a reflective logo. The letters Y and W glittered under the flashlight of the camera. D.C. Gibson, the third member of Julie's team, hurried down to the quayside. D.S. Wharton elbowed him in the ribs.
"One less drug dealer to worry about, eh, son?"
Julie clicked her tongue. "Let's not jump to conclusions," she warned. "Do we have a name?" D.C. Gibson shook his head. Julie turned to the CSM. "Any ID?" she asked.
"Leave it with me."
The CSM pulled a pair of long-sleeved, heavy-duty gloves over the nitrile ones. His assistant taped them to the white Tyvek suit. He knelt beside the body and began rummaging inside the man's clothes.
"Turn him, please."
His assistant tilted the waterlogged corpse, and Adrian continued his search in the back pockets of the trousers.
"Okay, I'm done."
The CSM stood and displayed empty hands, holding them out for his assistants to sluice them down with seawater, then disinfectant.
"No wallet, no phone," he reported.
Lights bounced off the water as Rosie turned her camera to the area where the body had been found.